So at the end of the hour, they come to the logical conclusion. They're like, there is no reason to hit a woman. There is no reason to hit a woman. And I was just like, really? I could give you like 17 right off the top of my head. You could wake me from a drunken stupor, I could still give you like 9. Dude, there's plenty of reasons to hit a woman. You just don't do it. But to sit there and suggest that there's no reason. Dude, the level of ego behind that statement. What are you, levitating above the rest of us? You're never annoying? Wait a minute, how many times have you thought about slapping your fucking guy in the head this week? Every day! There you go. Every day. You didn't do it, right? Oh, dude, it drives me nuts. There's no reason. There's no reason. Really? No reason? How about this? You marry a girl, you fall in love, you buy her a house. You go to work every day paying off the house. You come home one day, she's banging the next door neighbor, hands you divorce papers. You got to move out, sleep on a futon, and still pay for that house that she's going to stay in. No reason. I'm not saying you should do it, but there's plenty of fucking reasons in that arc of a story.
Nothing like some hitting women jokes to start the podcast off with. They were jokes, but there's a reason why I chose that intro, because I thought it would be funny first and foremost. But you know, it is once again time to trash ladies, and you know, if I do have women listening to this podcast, assuming that you have an open mind, I would suggest that before you get all angry and incensed at me, that you know, just listen to what I have to say. And then if after that you feel like, you know, fuck that guy, then I totally support you. Okay? Totally support you. But, you know, you can't just automatically fucking sign off on what's about to be said, just because I haven't bought into the whole, you know, women are just automatically fucking saints, that all women are, you know, no matter what they say is the fucking truth, that there's never any sort of alternative, or is it ulterior? I think it's ulterior. Or is it alternative? I don't know. One of those motives to some of the things that some women do. Obviously not all, but just some. Okay, so the reason that I'm getting ready to trash women, or not women, just a woman at this point, is because I was on Twitter, which I know is no fucking surprise to anybody that listens to this podcast, you know, even halfway regularly. A lot of my, I don't know, what would you call it? My anger, my fury, it comes from just dealing with fucking idiots on Twitter. And although in this particular situation I wasn't dealing with anybody, I happened to go through the what do you call it, the moments section, and I saw the story about Pauley Perrette. For those of you that don't know who Pauley Perrette is, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name right, and I apologize if I am mispronouncing it. It looks like it says Perrette, so that's what I'm going with. But for those of you that don't know who Pauley Perrette is, if you ever watch that show, NCIS, with Mark Harmon, Pauley Perrette is the lady, the gal, the woman that plays Abbey, which is like the, you know, the quirky, smart girl that's on the show that works in the lab. Okay. Apparently she's quitting the show after, I think it's 15 years or something, or is it 15 seasons? I don't fucking know. Doesn't really matter. It's not relevant to the story. She's quitting the show, and, there has been allegations that the reason that she's quitting the show is because that she's been assaulted or something. You know, I of course saw what she tweeted, which I'll fucking share with you in a second. I saw what she tweeted, and then I responded. Okay, so here's what she tweeted, right? I guess apparently, we'll give you a little fucking backstory. What is the fucking backstory? Oh, apparently fucking tabloids have, gotten hold of the story of the reason why she's leaving the show, and they're saying some things, and she's, denying them, or whatever the case may be. I'll let you be the judge. But I want you to keep in mind, I'm going to read what she wrote, like all of her tweets, and then I'm going to read what my response to them. And then I'm going to explain that, well, just pay a fucking attention, all right? So her first tweet in regards to this story is, I refused to go low. That's why I've never told publicly what happened. But there are tabloid articles out there that are telling total lies about me. If you believe them, please leave me alone. You clearly don't know me. And then she put in parentheses, sorry guys, had to be said. Her next tweet, maybe I'm wrong for not spilling the beans, telling the truth. The truth, she puts in all caps. I feel I have to protect my crew, jobs, and so many people. But at what cost? I don't know. Just know I'm trying to do the right thing. But maybe silence isn't the right thing about crime. I'm ... just ... question mark. Next tweet. There is a machine keeping me silent and feeding false stories about me. A very rich, very powerful publicity machine. No morals, no obligation to truth, and I'm just left here reading the lies, trying to protect my crew, trying to remain calm. He did it. I've been supporting anti-bullying programs forever, but now I know because it was me, if it's school or work that you're required to go to, question mark. It's horrifying. I left. Multiple physical assaults. I really get it now. Stay safe. Nothing is worth your safety. Tell someone. Okay. Now, before I get to what I said, right? I was, I read through the tweets. It sounds like she went through some horrific shit, right? And so I was reading other people's tweets, and people were, of course, saying, "Oh, keep strong," and we love you, and all of that stuff, and then the people that respond, there's one person that says, I wonder how many other actors accept physical assault and violence on sets because they're terrified it'll kill their careers. Hashtag Pauley Perrette. And then there's a couple more tweets, but the one that really got to me was this one that says, viewers aren't stupid. Obviously something went down, something big, judging by the fact you and Mark, and she's referring to Mark Harmon, had zero actual proper scenes together during season 15, which, I might add, was a big bummer for us, Gibbs/Abbey fans. Alright. So, there's this, they're alluding to it is Mark Harmon that was the one that assaulted her. At least that's what I got from it. And this was me not knowing the fucking story, not reading up on it before I responded or any of that, okay? But you can see that it makes you think that, hey, it sounds like Mark Harmon, maybe he's part of this Me Too thing where he's been, assaulting her and doing all sorts of lewd and lascivious things, right? And, naturally people are going to start garner anger at Mark Harmon, especially people like me, which I would say are most people. Okay, most people just see this and they make assumptions, and the next thing you know, people's careers are fucking over, right? Without even looking into the story. All right. So I responded to her tweet, and this was again before I read the stories or what this is all about, okay? So this is what I said. I said, I don't know what the tabloids say, as the last time I went to them for news was half past never. But what I do believe is that instead of just handling it and saying who did what so as to protect others from the suffering or from suffering the same possible assaults, you're dancing around it, being vague as fuck, and causing people to assume that the person who assaulted you is Mark Harmon, which if it was, then fuck that guy. But if it wasn't, and you're allowing people to develop hatred towards the guy, something that could very well end his career, just so you can keep your 15 minutes, and by 15 minutes, I mean your 15 minutes of fame, then fuck you. All right? That was my response. I didn't get anything back. I don't expect anything back. I'm pretty sure that I've already... Well, if I haven't been blocked, I'm sure that I'm at the very least muted. I'm sure others that are reading the tweets or have blocked me or whatever, right? So I decided, well, you know what? I did just sort of jump to conclusions there. So let me do a little bit of research as to what this might all be about. And what I found was that about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little less, maybe a little longer. I don't know. Doesn't care. Or I don't care. It turns out that Mark Harmon had adopted a pit bull, right? A rescue, right? And had brought the dog on the set, right? This is what the tabloids are saying, okay? And I have to assume that this is, maybe how it went down isn't the same, but this is what this is all about. These are the assaults that caused her to quit the show, okay? He brings his dog, right? Everybody's fine. I don't know. Something happens. The dog bites somebody. Not her, just bites somebody. And I guess the guy or girl, I think it's a guy. And he wasn't even like part of the crew. I mean, he wasn't like on camera crew. He was like, I don't know, the fucking other people that work on these fucking shows, right? He gets bit, ends up having to get 10 stitches. Mark Harmon, of course, is fucking... I mean, this is what the tabloids say. Okay, they're saying, oh, he's horrified, he apologizes, all of this stuff, right? Decides never again to bring the dog to work with him because obviously, it's a fucking danger, right? It just so happens that, a few years later or some shit, the person that normally watches his dog or whatever, they can't watch him, so he has to bring the dog back on set. Now, the dog doesn't bite anything. Nothing fucking happens. It's all good. But according to the tabloids, Miss Pauley Perrette decides to lose her shit and get upset that he brought brought his dog back on set and put everybody's life at fucking risk, right? And one of the things that they're quoting that she said is that she never should have bought a pit bull in the first place, which means if that's what she said, then she's already a fucking piece of shit for assuming that because a dog is a pit bull that automatically means fucking bad dog. Okay, I've owned pit bulls my entire fucking life. I have one now. I have 2 kids. I don't worry about a fucking thing with my dog. Because I'm not one of these asshats that gets a pit bull because they're trying to enhance their fucking tough guyness or any of that shit. They're a fucking great dog. They've got tons of fucking energy. They're smart as shit. I mean, of course, when she said that, yes, I'll admit I'm a little bit biased because I am a pit bull lover. But if that is what she said, she is assuming right off the bat that the reason that the dog bit the person is because of the breed and not because maybe some fucking crazy shit happened or, it's just this assumption that fucking pit bulls are the only fucking dogs that bite people. Well, if you do a little bit of fucking research, you'll find that the dog that bites people the most are fucking golden retrievers. Yes, America's fucking pussy dog. The one that everybody assumes is just, fucking, nice by nature. It turns out they bite more fucking people than any fucking dog in America. I don't know about the world, but at least in America, right? But anyway, it's not about that. Okay, so if this story is even halfway true, that this is all about a fucking dog, tell me how Miss Pauley fucking Perrette is the fucking victim here. She's a victim because of what? Because he brought it, and from what I understand, at least if this story is true, he brought the dog, he explained, or at least tried to explain. Now again, I know I'm taking his side here, it could have went down a different way, but the way that they explain it is that he tried to explain to her and say that, what was he supposed to do? Leave the fucking dog alone? It's one of those things that, I don't know. Some people look at dogs like they look at, or they look at dogs as though they're their children, right? You wouldn't leave your fucking child at home alone. So he brought his dog, and maybe, maybe this story is maybe the fucking facts are a little bit off, but where and there does it imply that Mark Harmon assaulted Pauley Perrette? Where is the assault? And if this is what it fucking emerged from, right? Because somebody got bit by a dog that Mark Harmon bought or brought to set. People are now starting to form opinions, right? Before I told you this fucking story, what did you assume right from the beginning about the assaults that she had fucking endured during her time on, being on NCIS? What was your first assumption? That Mark Harmon somehow sexually fucking harassed her. And I'm not saying that he didn't. Obviously, I don't know the whole fucking story. But if it is about the fucking dog, then what she's doing is a shitty fucking thing to somebody. And the reason that she's being all fucking vague about who did it and what fucking happened is because I suspect it's because it is about this fucking dog. And in a last ditch effort, because she knows that really, there's some people that you want to see do other things. They are like, oh, I wonder how they would be in a movie. But she's not one of them. I think that she realizes that outside of NCIS, she ain't got shit. And she knows that the best way to keep her name out there, and again, I'm admitting that I could be wrong here. But what I do know is that it's fucking unfair that somebody else is getting dragged through the mud, and this could potentially end his fucking career if people think that the reason or that the reason that she's quitting is because she was like sexually assaulted and all of this and it was him. I mean, this could end his fucking career. And that's kind of what I'm getting at with all of this. The end fucking, or the moral of this fucking story is that I find it fucking shitty. I mean, I know it's horrific, the things that women have to go through. And I'm not saying that you need to just shut up about it or just, take it. I understand, I'm 100% behind you on you shouldn't feel fucking afraid or harassed, or you shouldn't have to go outside and fucking have dudes catcalling you. And obviously I feel like you should earn the same amount of money for the same amount of work. I'm 100% behind you. But let's not pretend like every single woman that comes forward with some fucking story is automatically telling the truth and isn't looking to just have a little bit of fucking attention. People's careers are on the line. Every time somebody says this, every time a woman says this or alludes to something about another man, about a man, right? Careers are on the line. And am I saying that their career is more important than the woman's well-being? No, of course not. If they did that shit, then fuck them. Like I said in my tweet, that if Mark Harmon is the one that did something to you, then fuck him. But if he didn't, and you're just allowing fucking people to, form this fucking false opinion about somebody because you just wanted a little bit more attention, then fuck you. And there are plenty of women that do this shit. And we all know they fucking exist. Hell, there was like 2 or 3 girls or women. Sorry, I don't want to call girls. I know how you guys get about fucking, I don't know. Is that a pronoun? I don't know. Well, no, pronouns are like he, she, whatever. Wasn't there like 2 or 3 women that claimed, what's his fucking name? He was on the American Idol, little fucking short dude, what the fuck, Ryan Seacrest, right? That like 2 or 3 women, had made these fucking claims that he had done something to them. And then it turned out that it was complete fucking bullshit, right? Luckily, his career wasn't ended, but this assumption, that right there is proof that some women are just full of shit and some women are just looking to garner a little attention. Some women are looking for a little bit of a fucking monetary payoff. Now, does that mean that now you should be quiet because some women are fucking shitty? No. But just like, like you can't assume that all women are fucking telling the truth or that are automatic saints, the same thing can be said that not all fucking men are fucking assholes trying to fucking, do this horrific shit. I don't know. I don't know why it pissed me off or it didn't really piss me off. I'm not fucking like, sitting over here fuming about it. Although I guess some would make the argument that, I dedicated 20 minutes of a podcast to it. So, maybe it disturbed me. It did fucking disturb me because it's yet again I don't really give a shit about Mark Harmon. I don't. But I'm fucking sick of the trial by fucking social media that's going on now. If Mark Harmon did some shit to her, then fuck that guy. And if he did, then he needs to be fucking tarred and feathered and hung by his fucking toes. But if this is all because she got upset about a fucking dog that did nothing to her, and because she has this fucking image in her head that because it's a pit bull, that naturally it's a fucking deadly animal. If this is all because of that, and she's dragging his fucking name through the mud by being fucking vague and making it seem like something actually fucking happened to her and it didn't, then she's a piece of shit. And ladies, if you are still listening, assuming you didn't just check out the right after the clip from Bill Burr, you need to start calling these women out on this shit. You want us to correct our behavior, but you don't want to change yours. You won't even acknowledge when it's obvious that somebody is just trying to get fucking attention. Did you hear anything about the 2 women that fucking accused Ryan Seacrest? Wasn't it just automatically fucking dismissed like, fuck, it happens. Right? But meanwhile, we're deprived of fucking brilliant comedy from Louis C.K. because he once fucking rubbed one out in front of somebody. Which in the end, this is all it really is about. I'm just still upset that I don't get fucking to see Louis C.K. do his thing. I heard he's coming back, but that might just be fucking rumor. I don't know. 22 minutes of me fucking talking about the chick from NCIS. I don't know. I could be wrong. Obviously if Mark Harmon, that story could be fucking bullshit, but aren't we at a, like what's that fucking saying? Like when there's smoke, there's fucking fire. Doesn't it strike anybody just a little bit strange that the fucking story out there isn't that Mark Harmon was was playing a game of fucking grab ass for 15 years. That the story is that he brought his fucking dog to work. And she didn't feel safe, and somehow that amounted to him assaulting her. And it's okay for her to be fucking vague when she's talking about this shit and making people assume that that he was fucking, grabbing him by the pussy or whatever. I mean, isn't it just a little bit fucking strange that there's not stories of like actual fucking assault, that it's really the stories all revolve around this fucking dog bite? I don't know, call me fucking crazy, but, things are getting out of hand and people need to just cut the fucking shit. That's basically my fucking take on it. Is it a hot take? I don't know. Maybe. But, let's move on from this shit. Although I am going to stick, this entire podcast is going to be, women themed. Okay. Maybe you didn't agree with my little fucking Pauley Perrette rant there, but you have to at least agree that some women have lost their goddamn mind. And case in point is I saw a story about about this lady that's so-called a sex expert, and she. I guess she went on fucking TV in Australia, in Australia, and said that we now need to ask babies for consent to change their diaper. Now, if that isn't the craziest fucking shit you've ever fucking heard in your goddamn life, then I don't know. Then maybe you need to tell me some more fucking stories, or tell me some of your stories, because what the fuck is this crazy lady fucking talking about? And, just to give you a little imagery of this person, she's like in her 40s and she's got fucking pink hair. So right off the back, if you're fucking listening to that lady, then you're out of your goddamn mind, okay? If you're in your 40s with pink fucking hair, then you should just shut the fuck up, because you don't have anything worth listening to say. But see, here's the obvious fucking flaws in her, her reason for that we should now ask babies for consent to change their fucking diapers is to teach them that their answers matter, that their desires matter. It's support. I get the fucking underlying thing here, right? Is to teach them that you don't just have to fucking go along with what somebody says that might be in a position of fucking power. I get where she's going with it, but here's the fucking the fly in the ointment, if you will. First of all, they're fucking babies. Most people don't remember shit, before the age of fucking 3. Which means, I don't know about you, but kids should definitely be out of fucking diapers by the age of 3. And if they're not, they're at the very least, they've got on like the pull-ups. It's not like you're really changing a diaper the same way. Most kids don't remember shit prior to age 3. And I would say that most people don't remember shit, prior to age fucking 5 or 6. Right? The people that remember shit when they were 3, we're talking about like 0.000001% of the fucking population. Most people can't remember anything that happened before the age of like 5 or 6. Okay, so all of those requests that you would make to, whether it was okay to change their fucking diaper, they wouldn't even remember it any fucking way. Secondly, anybody that actually has kids, and I can tell this lady doesn't, knows that kids say fucking no to shit that they want. Which means that if they're old enough to respond to the "can I change your diaper" question, which most likely they're not, but let's just fucking humor this crazy lady for a second. if they're old enough or if they are able to respond, most of the time the answer is going to be no. Because that is part of being a kid and growing up and developing. You start to develop your own sense of self. And the way that kids do that is by telling their parents no. And they'll say no to fucking anything. Even if it's shit that they, you know, that they love. They'll say no to it just to test you. So what are you supposed to do then? Genius with the fucking pink hair? Are you supposed to just let them sit around in a shitty fucking diaper and get sick? Are you supposed to wait until they feel like, okay, I feel comfortable enough with you in order to let you change me out of this fucking this plastic fucking bag filled with my own fucking feces? Most kids do not want to sit around in a dirty fucking diaper, and you're expecting to wait until they, until they can be like, yeah, go ahead. I would love for you to do that. It's getting out of fucking control. Okay? If your fucking kid, whether it's a girl or a boy, if they've got shit in their fucking diaper, I don't give a fuck if they say yes, no, or fuck you. You change them because that is the right thing to do. That is how you prevent fucking, infections and shit like that. And that's why I know that this lady, she doesn't have any kids. These people, that's what gets on my nerves the most are the people that aren't real, that are fucking so upset about shit and they don't really even experience themselves. Right? This lady doesn't have kids, or at least I don't think she has kids. What I do know is that I have to assume at this point she doesn't have kids. That's why she thinks that this whole, you should ask for consent to wipe their fucking ass. That's where it comes from, because she's fucking, she's romanticized this idea in her head that the kids will naturally be like, thank you, mom, or thank you, dad, for asking me to change me out of my own shit. I'm going to assume she doesn't have kids. That's why she thinks that that's something that is even fucking, that isn't crazy. Okay? But you also have, where was I going with this shit? The people that just, like, they get this idea in their head. I mean, their heart is in the right place. This lady's heart is in the right place. But she's fucking nuts if she actually thinks that is a fucking reasonable, rational, logical fucking statement to make. It's insane. If you have kids, you know what I'm fucking talking about, okay? They will fight you on everything. So expecting them to be like, yes, you have my consent, mother. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking retarded. All right. And the consent shit is out of control. Like a few years ago at school, I believe, I don't know if it was like an email or some shit where it was talking about, like, that during sex, that it is up to, that the guy must continually ask for consent the entire fucking time. Right? Can I touch your titty? Can I take your clothes off? Can I stick my dick inside you? Which, okay, granted, yeah, I agree. Generally you should ask if you can do those things. But they're talking about you should be constantly checking in with your partner to make sure that everything is okay. Okay, try to imagine what sex would be like with somebody that is constantly, is it okay if I do this? Or what if, okay, can I turn you that way? Okay, is it okay? Do I have your consent to lick you? Are you about to orgasm? Do I have the consent to make you orgasm? Should I hold, what the fuck have people lost their goddamn minds? And here's the funny fucking thing, right, is because it's always been framed in this: the guy should constantly be checking in with her as to whether or not it's okay. But there's never the reverse. Does the woman now have to fucking check in with him? Because I mean, this, and that's where it fucking gets bananas, because it comes down to this idea that for some reason that, women, for having sex for women is a fucking job, and for men it's a fucking privilege. Okay. I don't know where these people, I suspect that the people that are coming up with this, you must fucking check in with me every fucking 5 seconds, are probably people that have never fucking been laid. Or if they have, it has been like a horrific fucking experience where they were violated and all of that, and they're associating that experience with the shared experience of having sex with somebody. Women love fucking sex just as much as guys. Some even more. So this idea that we need to check in with them, but they don't need to check in with us. I don't want you to check in. I'm not saying that you should now start doing it. I don't want you. Just shut the fuck up. Either, tell me yes, more, faster, slower, deeper, whatever, or grunt at me. That's the only talking I want to hear from you. I don't want to hear, or I don't want you asking me fucking questions like, oh, is it okay that I continue to enjoy your dick sliding inside of me? Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear this shit. And I'm pretty sure most women in the throes of fucking passion don't want some guy like, oh, is it okay if I insert my penis, a couple of centimeters deeper inside of you? Get the fuck out of here. Women, you've lost your goddamn minds. Okay? Well, not all women. Obviously, I'm really just speaking to the extreme feminists that have decided that everything done by a man is somehow a microaggression towards womanhood. You need to settle the fuck down, because it isn't going to end well. You stay on this fucking path, it's not going to end well. And I'm not saying that, men are going to start beating your ass. I'm not implying that. It's just, it isn't going to go well. People got sick of the fucking political correctness and the PC police, and look what happened. We ended up with a fucking game show host with a fucking dead weasel on his head as president. The PC shit has fucking backfired. And ladies, if I know you're smart, I know you're observant. Do you not see that you're headed towards something of that magnitude with this whole, men are all fucking evil direction that you're fucking going? I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass. Maybe you do want your man to constantly check in with you and ask you if every little fucking step he's making during fucking intercourse, maybe you want him to ask your fucking permission. Maybe that gets you off. What I do know is that I'm not attracted to that shit. So if you're one of those types of women, then leave me the fuck alone. Because I don't care if you're fucking giving it away with with an extra fucking bag of groceries, or fucking a lifetime fucking subscription to whatever fucking magazine that I really don't fucking read. I don't want it. And now to move on to what I would. I don't know. Has anybody watched the fucking the documentary on Netflix about that Rachel Dolezal lady, the white lady that tried to convince everybody that she was black, and I don't know, she ended up like the head of the NAACP, and for some reason I don't know, people don't like her anymore because she says that even though she is white biologically, she identifies as being black. And, for some reason, this is a fucking problem. I watched it. And I gotta say that first and foremost, somebody needs to explain to me what it is that she did that was so fucking wrong. I mean, they were talking about how, I forget where they were from, like Washington or some shit, or I don't know, one of those like states that you would assume is mostly white, and then, you know, that there's very little minorities there, but, you know, turns out there's some. Okay, during the documentary, they talked about how she was the one that was responsible for forming the Black Lives Matter protests. She was on some sort of committee that was basically policing the police. She did a couple of other things that they admitted in the documentary would not have happened had she not been involved, because nobody else was even thinking about doing that. Okay. She's protesting police violence. She was trying to do something about police violence, and she was trying, you know, and she was basically trying to help black people in any possible way she could. Please explain to me why that was wrong. I get it, you know, I mean, you know, and listening to some of the people on this documentary, because they don't just show, you know, it's not just all about her. You know, they show a lot of, you know, like African American ladies that, you know, that their reasoning for fucking hating her and whatever is, you know, like if you got to watch it, their fucking reasons are fucking ridiculous. You know, they're so caught up on the fact that, you know, she styled her hair a certain way, or, you know, or that she just called herself black, and not really even paying attention to the fucking good things that she was doing. And it basically just boiled down to, well, you don't fucking, you know, you don't have to deal with the shit I deal with, so therefore what you did was wrong. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I mean, black people, please explain it. What is it that you want? Do you want people to fucking fight on your behalf? Or do you want people to ignore your causes altogether? Because what you did to Rachel Dolezal, I mean, if I were white, I would be like, well, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going to fucking help, because look what they do to somebody who is actually doing something to help them. So what if she wants to call herself black? Who gives a flying fuck about that? What? And just because, and you know, here's the ironic thing, right? Is they're upset that because she didn't have to go through all of the struggle and you know, being followed around by the police and all of it, you know, because she didn't do that, she has no right to call herself black. But now she's a fucking pariah in her own fucking state and city, and she has people sending her fucking death threats. They're constantly harassing her online when she goes out into public. You know, they got people throwing fucking rocks at her windows, and, you know, basically doing a lot of the shit that, you know, that they're so upset about that she didn't fucking go through, and she's now going through it. And for some reason they can't really fucking connect the dots there. That I mean, I don't know where I stand on the whole reverse racism thing. On one hand, it sounds ridiculous. On the other hand, you know, it does seem kind of like a double standard sometimes. You know, and the fact that because white people, you know, make up the fucking majority of the population and they pretty much dictate how everything goes, just because that, I don't know. I mean, you know, the argument has been made, or at least I've heard it made, that because black people don't have the ability to oppress anybody, therefore they can't be racist. Which in itself is fucking the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my goddamn life. I had a friend that I grew up with. He was black, right? his grandmother, because some reason he ended up living with her and not his mom. His grandmother absolutely fucking hated white people. Right. And, it's understandable because she was alive during those times where, you had to, where black people had to sit in the fucking back of the bus and, and were openly called the N-word to their faces. I get where her hatred comes from. But it was he couldn't have white friends. He couldn't date white girls. He couldn't bring white people anywhere near his fucking house because she hated white people that badly. And yes, her perspective on white people was foreign because of her history, growing up. But we're talking about people that aren't fucking, they aren't the same. These are new fucking white people that are cool and fucking okay and they're nice and they don't have any fucking racist shit in their fucking body. And she was just adamant. No fucking way. Tell me how that's not fucking reverse racism. What? Because you had some bad experience? I mean, isn't this kind of the fucking argument, right? That some, that a lot of people make that, just because you had an experience in the past doesn't mean that everybody's the fucking same. Isn't that the argument that a lot of fucking African American people make about, this assumption that, because some bad shit happened to you, that doesn't mean that all fucking black people are this way or that way. I mean, how is this any fucking different? And I know I'm going a little bit off track here, but you see where I'm going with this. They're upset because, prior to her being fucking discovered as being white instead of black, she didn't have to go through, the constant fucking harassment. But I have to say that is probably bullshit. And the reason that is because she lives in a state that obviously has some issues with black people, and she has kids that are half black. She adopted black children. I've talked to people that were in or are in, well, not so much anymore, but that in the past that have been in interracial fucking relationships and have been harassed mercifully. I don't know. They've been harassed because how dare the two fucking races, mix. Okay, it's fucking horseshit. Yeah, maybe she can, maybe she can run a fucking red light and not end up getting fucking, beat down, by the police. But to assume that just because she's white, that therefore she's experienced no fucking struggle, no fucking strife, is insane. And again, I'm still struggling with what exactly did she do that was so fucking wrong? She was trying to help fucking black people. Yeah, she got caught up in all of it, and I get this, it goes back to that like cultural appropriation fucking nonsense, which is fucking weird considering, we live in the United States. It's a fucking melting pot. This expectation that other people's cultures aren't going to fucking bleed into others it's fucking ridiculous. And it becomes even more ridiculous when you fucking get upset about hairstyles or fucking clothing, the types of fucking clothing, or fucking, speaking a particular way. I don't know. It just, at some point, black people, you're gonna have to settle the fuck down. Not because you're black, not because you're not white or not whatever, but you're gonna have to fucking relax and pick your fucking battles. Okay? Because, obviously I don't know how white people feel. I'm Filipino, black, and Portuguese. Mostly Filipino. obviously I don't know. I don't know how white people think, but what I do know is that, just if you pay any attention to what's going on in social media, and, especially with the people that are adamant fucking Trump followers, a lot of them seem to be at a point where it's just like, you know what? I don't fucking give a fuck. Maybe it was possible that some of these people, I know some people were just always shitty fucking people, and there was never any fucking, you were never going to make any ground with them. But there are people that were probably on the fence that got sucked into that whole idea of making America great again, which is, really just code for, make America white again. I'm sure that there's some people who are like, well, you know what? Ordinarily I could empathize or sympathize with, with their struggle, but because they're now just, even people that are trying to fucking help them, they're throwing them under the fucking bus. A lot of them might be like, fuck that. They're fucking out of their minds. And maybe these crazy fucking people that put on the robes and carry tiki torch, maybe they're onto something. I'm not saying that that's what they're thinking, but it's possible, as long as you keep fucking, it's just like this lady that said you should ask a fucking baby for consent to change its diaper. When you have people doing shit like that, then when it comes to having the actual discussion about consent, people will automatically dismiss it as it's fucking crazy. Okay, on one spectrum, you have somebody that, well, not even on one spectrum, you have people in your camp that are, that have taken consent to the most absurd, fucking obscene places you can go. So why should I listen to you now about this shit? If you're fucking crazy enough to assume that a fucking baby can consent to a diaper change, and that you should even have to ask a fucking baby if you can change their fucking diaper. If you think that shit, then then your discussion on consent in other areas is already fucking tainted, right? And this is probably, I assume how some people view when they're watching this Rachel Dolezal thing unfold, it like, okay, so she tried to fucking help them, and they threw her under the fucking bus because she wore her hair a particular fucking way. It's fucking insane. Now, I was with this Rachel Dolezal lady all the way through the movie. I was constantly like, what the fuck? What did she do fucking wrong? Right? I was with her through the entire fucking movie until the very end. Now, I'm going to say spoiler alert and give you the opportunity to stop the fucking podcast right here, right now. But be forewarned, I am going to give away the fucking ending here. So if you don't want to hear it, click off now. You've been warned. Okay, so in the end, after, she's talked about all of the shit that she's had to go through, and her family, and, and her sons are like, I wish she would just have not handled it this way, and yada, yada, yada. And she's upset that her kids can't have normal lives because, her name is so fucking tainted that it's fucking with her, or it's fucking with them. She acknowledges that, that maybe she should just, I don't know, back away, even just for their sake. Regardless of how she feels, that she should just back away and not fucking cause any more fucking drama, just for the sake of her kids. At the very fucking end, she cuts off her braids, because she has, up until this point, she has all of these fucking, the little fucking tiny braids that are all fucking like tied into a ponytail or whatever. She cuts them all off, and you think, okay, yeah, she's giving it up. She's decided that, okay, you know what? I need to stop the fucking craziness. My kids are being fucking harassed and threatened and all of that shit. You think, oh yeah, okay, she's made a breakthrough. I mean, at this point, she's already sort of admitted that, yeah, she's white, but she feels like she's black. She's accepted that she's, a little bit nutty. She cuts off all her fucking braids, and then she puts on a fucking wig that, I mean, they're not dreadlocks. I don't know how to fucking describe it. I know that, I mean, it kind of seems like the kind of style that Whoopi Goldberg has had at some fucking point. She puts that on, which is crazy, because why the fuck did you just cut all your fucking hair off? You're just gonna put a fucking wig on. She cuts off her hair, puts on the fucking wig, and then goes down to like City Hall and changes her fucking name from Rachel Dolezal to like Nkembe, something that just sound, it sounds African. And it was at that point where I was like, you know what? This bitch's fucking nuts. And you know what? I completely retract all of the fucking empathy I had for her, because this lady is out of her fucking mind. And now I understand why black people were so upset with her. Because she is basically a fucking cartoon character. So I know that everybody thought I was fucking, taking digs and shit at African Americans, but I'm right with you. Fuck that lady. That lady's out of her fucking mind, and she's convinced herself that, she's one of those people that, that is, she's one of those non-black people that, that think that all black people fucking speak in street slang, that all black people are from the hood. She's one of those types of people. It's just, instead of being like openly fucking insulting, she's, I don't know, subliminally doing it. I don't know, but yeah, fuck that lady. But anyway, this has been a long fucking podcast. I'm gonna end it here. I gave you fair warning that that there was going to be a fucking spoiler. So if you're upset that I told you the end of that fucking documentary, well, it's really up to you, right? I gave you warning. But anyway, hope you're having a good fucking week so far. It is only fucking Tuesday, so, I don't know. If you're sitting in a fucking cubicle, then, I feel bad for you, but at the same fucking time, you're the one, you could walk out of that cubicle at any fucking moment. You could say, you know what, fuck this. I'd rather work in a building or in an office with 4 fucking walls and a roof. I'd rather not sit on a fucking chair that was purchased at IKEA. You could do that, but you choose not to. So you really can't be that mad. I'm just fucking with you. But anyway, have a fucking good rest of the week. This might be the only podcast this week just because I got shit going on, but you never fucking know. And to any new listeners, I do a couple of these podcasts a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. Occasionally I fucking surprise you with, one on Monday or one on fucking Wednesday or one on fucking Friday. Just every now and then you get a little extra, and then, of course, every now and then you get a little less. So, whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I hope you have a good week. Don't take any shit, and like always, go fuck yourself. Peace.